Morning has come, Sunday is here, and on behalf of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Catskills, I welcome you. I'm Joyce White, the worship associate this morning, and I use she, they pronouns. We're excited to have attendees both in person as well as virtually on Zoom. If you're a visitor online and would like to be added to our mailing list, you can put your name and email address in the chat box area on Zoom. If you're visiting in person this morning, you can stand and introduce yourself if you would like. Do we have any visitors?
My name is Rick. I've been here a few times.
Welcome. Welcome, everyone. You can visit our website, uucatskills.org, to find contact information, to be added to the mailing list, and to find the latest newsletter. You will also find newsworthy items on upcoming events in our UU community. A reminder that people of all ages, children, young and old, are welcome here at UU Catskills. There's a space across the hall for anyone who would like to hear the service while being able to freely move about. And after the service, please stay for our in-person or virtual coffee break. Please take a moment now to turn off your electronic devices. Give yourself permission to be fully present here and now. I have a few announcements this morning. It's that time of year again. Our annual meeting is coming up June 9th. You should have already received the annual meeting packet by email. I got mine yesterday. And there's a limited number of printed copies available in the admin office across the hall if you would like one. Bruce, is this for this afternoon?
Yes.
Okay. This afternoon, there's a first acoustic concert here in the sanctuary. Singing and songwriting duo Liam Robinson and Jean Rowe will be here. That's this afternoon at 3 o'clock here in our sanctuary. If you would like to come or would like more information about First Acoustics, see Bruce Wilde in the back or Ellen Harrington here after worship today.
And Jesse Corral will be opening.
Thank you. Our Voting Rights Task Force has a table in the social hour area. Please stop by and see that after the service. Each Sunday, the Social Action Committee shares notices of an event, opportunity, or idea that provides an easy way to support our justice work behind our four walls. Today, we'll hear from Lydia McCaw.
Hello, everyone. Hi. I'm Lydia, or LJ, and I go by he and they pronouns, which is an update for most of you. So I'm here to tell you why you should come to Pride, even if it's not your personal thing. So this year hasn't been a great year for the rights of queer people, as I think most of you are probably aware. And one thing that we really need more than ever now are people who will stand up with us and show that this is just a minority of people who are against us. That most people are happy to accept people who are different and who are just living their truth. So we need to show the world and the country that everyone belongs and everyone deserves to live their truth. And that's why it's important for everyone to go to Pride. And we will be going as a congregation on June 1st to New Paltz Pride. And I hope to see everyone there.
Unitarian Universalism is a liberal religious faith that carries no creed and welcomes all seekers. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. We're guided by a set of principles and written sources that encompass the many ways we come to know and understand the world, the universe, and the divine. Our principles are important to us at UU Catskills, and we live our values on a daily basis. We affirm that Black Lives Matter. We are a welcoming and affirming congregation for the LGBTQ community. We're a congregational affiliate of the Ulster Immigrant Defense Network. We are an active voice in the effort to address climate change. Our sanctuary is built on the tribal land of the Lenni Lenape people, currently known as Kingston. Our prelude this morning is Prelude number 3 in G minor by Gabriel Fauré, played by Catherine Catabiani. Would the children like to come up and light the chalice? Thank you, Maddie. Thank you. Good eyes. Thank you. Please join me in saying the chalice lighting words. We light this chalice in grateful, loving community. Even in the darkest of times, may its flame light paths to courage, justice, and hope. And now our unison affirmation. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love to all living beings. May we know once again that we are not isolated, but connected, joy, mystery, and miracle in the universe, in this community, and in each other. Our opening words this morning are by Reverend Tanya Marquez, Witnesses of the World. It is now, when we are called as witnesses of the world, to mend it, to change its course, to restore it. It is now when we are called to act on our values. Not to hide, not to fear, but to be bold and loud. It is now that we are called to continue our fight for justice, to organize, to speak up. It is now. Let us gather, let us give each other courage, let us worship. Our reading this morning is a poem written by Harvey Milk 2 months before his death and read by Ellen Harrington.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I can be killed with ease. I can be cut right down, but I cannot fall back into the closet. I have grown. I am not myself. I am too many. I am all of us.
Please stand if you wish and join us in singing hymn number 95, There Is More Love Somewhere. Our children's story this morning is adapted from Pride, the story of Harvey Milk and the Pride Flag, read by Carol Ryder, whose pronouns are she and they. And for those of you who don't know what the Pride Flag is, the rainbow flag, we're just going to hold it up real quick for you.
This is the story. Harvey Milk was an ordinary man, but he had an extraordinary dream, and that dream would change history. Harvey dreamed that everyone, even gay people, would have equality. He dreamed that he and his friends would be treated like everyone else. He dreamed that one day, people would be able to live and love as they pleased. Harvey talked to everyone about his dream. His voice boomed. His body bounced with energy and excitement. Some people listened, a few agreed, many did not. But Harvey's big voice and his big dream wouldn't be stopped. He discovered that the best way to change laws was to help make laws. In 1972, Harvey Milk took a big step forward. That dream would become one of the first openly gay people to be elected to political office in the United States. Harvey and his friends planned marches to protest inequality and unfair laws. And just days before one of the marches, Harvey had an idea. A symbol, he thought. We need a symbol that shows who we are and how we feel. Something to carry during the march. Something to make people feel they're part of a community. Something to give people hope. Something extraordinary. Harvey asked his artist friend, Gilbert Baker, "We need a flag." Volunteers arrived to help Gilbert's design come to life. Together, they dipped fabric into large barrels filled with vivid, vibrant dyes. They cut and pieced and sewed until Harvey, Gilbert, and other activists had a flag that Harvey believed would give hope. On June 25th, 1978, when it was time for the march, a breeze stirred in San Francisco. The flag unfurled. The wind blew. The flag fluttered, flapped, and flew. A rainbow as bright and unique as the men and women who walked behind it led the march. Harvey and the people asked for equality. They asked to be treated like everyone else. They asked to live and love as they pleased. They hoped the march would make a difference. Harvey was proud of the flag and proud of himself. He hoped others would be proud too. 5 months later, on the morning of November 27th, 1978, Harvey and Mayor of San Francisco, George Moscone, had their lives taken by a man who did not think like Harvey, or feel like Harvey, or love like Harvey. The flag did not fly on that dark, sad night. Instead, thousands of people marched silently, carrying candles. The candlelight wove through the streets of San Francisco, up and down hills and around city buildings. a mile of glowing candlelight in honor of 2 lives lost. That could have been the end of Harvey's dream and the colorful flag, but it wasn't. More rainbow flags were created. More and more people began to think of the flag as their flag, and they began to feel pride. They began to feel hope. The rainbow flag now flies proudly on farms, in suburbs, and in cities, outside public buildings, hotel shops, restaurants, churches, and homes, and even here. And once, on June 26th, 2015, the White House was awash in the colors of the rainbow flag. Finally, equality, pride, hope, love, Harvey's dream became a flag for us all.
Join me as we sing our children out this morning. Time for our offering. You can give in several ways. Drop something in the basket when it's passed. Use the QR code in your order of service, or give by going to uucatskill.org. We contribute to worthy organizations with our half-plate donation. This money will be shared among 7 charitable groups. Please give generously. Our offertory this morning is Marceau de Concours by Gabriel Fauré, played by Robin Alvarado and Catherine Catabiani. We thank you for your gifts. The story of Harvey Milk is one of passion, love, betrayal, and murder, but most of all, hope. This Wednesday is Harvey Milk Day, a day to remember and teach Harvey's life and work. Harvey was the first openly gay elected official in California, making his story also, to a large extent, that of the gay movement in San Francisco and ultimately the nation. He will forever be known for bringing us the pride flag, and his death gave us the hymn, "We Are a Gentle, Angry People," and sadly, the Twinkie defense. There are times, rare times, when the forces of societal change collide with a series of dramatic events to produce moments which are later called historic. Just such a time fell on San Francisco during the late 70s when Harvey arrived at age 42. But before I get into the story, a quick disclaimer. LGBTQ, or queer, is the current umbrella term for people who are not heterosexual or cisgender. However, in the 70s, when this story takes place, the umbrella term was gay. And despite the fact that gay is now offensive to many queer people, I'm using it today for its historical accuracy and respect for Harvey's memory. This was a grim time to be gay. It was a time when straight people could still entertain the fiction that they personally knew no one who was gay. Gays were considered immoral deviants. Police would routinely line up gay people, and even though they might not be charged with a crime, notify the victim's employer and family. Job loss was common, family ties were severed, gays were considered to be unfit parents, and often lost custody of their children. Most left their homes and relocated. Then in the 70s, we got Anita Bryant and her Save Our Children campaign, which aimed to repeal an ordinance protecting gay rights. She believed that homosexuals were child molesters, and giving them civil rights would encourage their criminality and immorality. That homosexuality was the result of being introduced to homosexual practices. Her name was synonymous with bigotry and homophobia, and tragically, her work was the beginning of organized opposition to gay rights. It was during this time that Harvey arrived in San Francisco. After college, he had left home because there he had to pretend to be something he was not. As he moved around the country, the super macho college jock became a Navy deep sea diver, high school math teacher, Wall Street securities analyst, long-haired, bead-wearing hippie, actor and associate producer, and lover of opera. But it was only as an openly gay politician that he had discovered who he wanted to be all along. As he grew into becoming that person, he made a coherent whole out of the many parts of himself. Harvey had spent most of his life looking for a stage. On Castro Street, he finally found it. Harvey believed that the root cause of hatred against gay was invisibility, that this hatred was based in fear, and that fear would evaporate once people could understand that they knew gay people. Coming out was a recurring theme in his speeches. He explained, "We will not win our rights by staying quietly in our closets. You must come out. Come out to your parents, your family, friends, neighbors, and coworkers, to the people who work where you eat and shop. But for once and for all, break down the myths, destroy the lies, for your sake, for their sake." In college, Harvey had been a sports writer and tried to stir a thirst for school spirit in an apathetic student body. The stakes had changed from winning a pennant to winning civil rights. He used his experience and skill to galvanize an appetite for the fight. Gays would never gain freedom if their leaders only asked for crumbs instead of first-class citizenship. They must band together and come out in full force, support gay businesses, and the businesses had to support gay activities and organizations. He discovered that the best way to change laws was to help make laws. Harvey ardently believed that it was time for an openly gay man to win political office, not only to fight for gay rights, but also to show the world that it could be done. It took him 3 tries before he was elected. He didn't give up, he persevered. In 1977, he finally won a seat as a city supervisor. That year, the city also elected a single mother, a Chinese American, and an African American woman, all firsts, partially due to the work of Harvey Milk on inclusivity and representation. Harvey only served 11 months in office, but he hit the ground running. It had taken him 5 years to get elected, and he had no intention of doing the job halfway. And he suspected that his time might be short. He fought for workers, women, racial minorities, disabled people, seniors, and rent control. He fought to make government responsible to all individuals. He promoted larger and less expensive child care facilities, free public transportation, and the development of a civilian board to oversee the police. Harvey sponsored a bill banning discrimination in public accommodations, housing, and employment based on sexual identity. It passed 11-1. The sole vote against was cast by fellow supervisor Dan White. The bill was signed into law by Mayor George Moscone. When Harvey took office in January 1978, he was the most prominent gay person in America. Hate mail and death threats started almost immediately, some frighteningly graphic. He told his staff that they just need to keep on doing what they're doing and try not to let it bother them. But they sensed his nervousness. And there were other signs. At the Gay Freedom Day parade in June 1978, he asked Ann Cronenberg, his campaign manager, if she knew the closest route to the hospital. Harvey knew that he was a target and had often imagined his death by an assassin who hated gays. 10 days after his election, he recorded 3 copies of his political will with his lawyer, asking that they be distributed only in the event of his death by assassination. He spoke about the differences between those who are part of the movement and those who only use it. And he asked that Mayor Moscone consider this when he chose Harvey's replacement, going so far as to offer suggestions. He spoke of getting a phone call from a young gay person isolated in Altoona, Pennsylvania, who had been cheered by his victory. Harvey said his election was not about personal gain, not about ego, not about power. It's about giving hope. To those young people out there in places like Altoona, you've got to give them hope. He called for people to turn their anger and frustration into power, once more calling for everyone to come out. Only in that way will we start to achieve our rights. And then he said, if a bullet should enter my brain, let that bullet destroy every closet door. On November 10th, fellow supervisor Dan White resigned his position. He had become increasingly unhappy with the ongoing liberalism. 2 weeks later, Dan White entered City Hall through a window to avoid the metal detector, went to the mayor's office to ask to be reinstated, and when he told it was impossible, he shot and killed the mayor. He then went to find Harvey Milk, fired 3 shots into his body and 2 into his head, penetrating his brain. That night, there was a massive candlelight vigil. Dianne Feinstein had already assumed the position of acting mayor and promised the mourning people that social change would continue in San Francisco. Harvey Milk would not be forgotten. Joan Baez led the crowd in Amazing Grace. Holly Near composed "We Are a Gentle, Angry People" on the ride down to San Francisco. She belted out the lyrics referring to gentle, angry people in what would become a gay anthem, singing about gay and lesbian people, many of whom had never said these words out loud. That night, the people were gentle. The anger would come later. The story could have ended here, but it was just the beginning of a better and more equitable society. Dan White spent 6 months in jail awaiting trial. Under California law, the murder of 2 public officials made the capital punishment mandatory. If White was found guilty of a crime that he had already confessed to, he would be executed. The defense's argument was that good people, fine people with fine backgrounds, simply don't kill people in cold blood. White had been so upset by the loss of his job that he couldn't eat, subsisting on soda and Twinkies, making it impossible to think clearly. Despite the facts that Dan White had cleaned his gun, loaded it, put 10 more bullets in his pants pocket, dressed in a 3-piece suit in order to conceal his weapon, and climbed through a ground floor window, the jury foreman explained that no one could come up with any evidence that indicated premeditation, and found White guilty of voluntary manslaughter and sentenced him to 7 years, 8 months in prison. Riots broke out, causing over $1 million in damage and injuring over 100 people. Now, San Francisco and the world finally had to face the fact that gays were angry, and the public needed to understand where this violence was coming from. Killed at the height of his popularity, Harvey's death catalyzed a movement. He became larger in death than he had been in life. Harvey Milk's legacy lives on. He showed us that one person with passion and dedication can make a difference. No contemporary American gay leader has yet to achieve in life the stature Milk found in death. Ever since Harvey's pioneering win, there has been at least one gay or lesbian San Francisco city supervisor every year. The March on Washington for lesbian gay rights that Harvey had called for was held in October 1979. 100,000 gay people showed up. The sight of so many people congregated in the Capitol, demanding civil rights, daring to show their faces to all of America, had the effect that Harvey had envisioned and encouraged more people to come out. His work helped pass the country's first gay rights ordinance, which eventually led to the nationwide right to same-sex marriage. It helped establish National Coming Out Day, and President Obama awarded him a posthumous Medal of Freedom. Time magazine included him in 100 Heroes and Icons of the 20th century as a symbol of what gays can accomplish and the dangers they face in doing so. He is still considered to be the most famous and most significant openly LGBTQ official ever elected in this country. Ann Cronenberg, his final campaign manager, said, "What set Harvey apart from you or me was that he was a visionary. He imagined a righteous world inside his head, and then he set about to create it for real, for all of us." Harvey Milk was arguably the most famous human rights champion the LGBT community ever had. His message was one of tolerance, inclusion, and hope. Most of all, hope. It wasn't safe to be gay during Harvey's lifetime, and it's not that much different today. Only the target has changed. Then gays were being attacked. Now it's our non-binary and trans friends and family members who are unsafe. In this election cycle, we need hope now more than ever. Hope will not be silent. Above all, Harvey Milk's message was one of hope. Before we sing our next hymn, I'd like to show you a video of Holly Neer explaining how she came to write "We Are a Gentle, Angry People."
And we are gentle, loving.
I think the song that probably resonates.
People, and we are singing, singing for our lives.
I think the song that probably resonates the most as an anthem is Singing for Our Lives, which she wrote when Harvey Milk was assassinated.
The mayor of San Francisco was shot and killed in his office in City Hall this morning. So was Harvey Milk, a city supervisor. As a member of the Board of Supervisors, Harvey Milk was a champion of homosexual rights.
We're driving down to San Francisco. It was like we had to be there. We just had to get there. I'm driving and I suddenly hear this guttural noise. It was a primal sound coming out of Holly. And she starts humming. And she hums it and she hums it and she hums it, and then she starts singing. And by the time we get to San Francisco, she's written 2 verses.
And that night we all sang, we are gay and lesbian people, and for many it was the first time they'd said those words out loud about themselves. And then the song flew out and allies began to sing it. And the words were changed to "We are gay and straight together." And the song found its way into the Unitarian hymnal. And then we learned a lot more about sexuality. And now I can't fit all the words into the meter of the song. But whatever door you walk through to your very essence, just know that we see you. We see you. And we are all in this together. And we are
It became the anthem of the LGBT movement.
And it's a song that's been carried all over the world, sung by hundreds of thousands of people.
We are land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives.
My response to you singing that song was immediate and so intense, and it would have overwhelmed me, except it felt instead that a calming fire had started in me.
Singing for our lives, we are gay and straight together. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing, singing for our lives.
Whenever I hear this song, I feel like I'm at the candlelight vigil, and I hear Harvey's words calling us to turn our anger and frustration into power. Please stand if you wish and join us in singing hymn number 170. Our closing words this morning are excerpted from Harvey Milk's Hope speech. I'll never forget what it was like coming out and having no one to look up toward. I remember the lack of hope. The young gay people of Altoona, Pennsylvania, and the Richmond, Minnesotans, who are coming out and hear Anita Bryant on television and her story, the only thing they have to look forward to is hope. And you have to give them hope. Hope for a better world, hope for a better tomorrow, hope for a better place to come to if pressures at home are too great. Hope that all will be all right. Without hope, not only gays, but the blacks, the seniors, the disabled, the us's will give up. It means hope for a nation that has given up, because if a gay person makes it, the doors are open to everyone. Please join me in saying the chalice lighting words. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. Greatness can happen when we live our authentic lives. Go in peace. Amen.